Hello again, everyone. We are Gaming by Gaslight, and welcome back to another episode of Starbound. So today we're doing a bit more building, and as you can also probably see, we're doing a bit of different building than what we had started on last time. And the reason for that is I think I mentioned it in the last mod spotlight, but when I loaded up Starbound, there was, for whatever reason, my everything crashed, and I think it's because there was an update to Frackin' Universe. At least that's the most recently updated mod I had. That seemed to be where the problem started, for whatever reason. So I figured, since I had to basically restart us with a bit of a different setup going on here, that, you know, why not do things a bit differently? Also, you may be wondering why it's so bright down here, and that's because I have the full bright command on. Basically, turn lights on, turn lights off. Nifty. So, first of all, as you can probably see here, this is the old, like, from back in the early access, Urkius Ghost Memorial, and I figure, you know, let's build that out a bit and do something cool with it. Because I'm thinking instead, I mean, since we were thinking of building a steampunk kind of inspired village, why not build it in the sky? Because there is nothing more steampunk than the sky, right? Yes, that's what I thought. Anyway, I've also been fiddling around with, these because I'm used to using the old elevators that were available back in the early access version of the game, which seem to have temporarily been removed for whatever reason. So, I mean, these are much more versatile once you figure out how to wire them up. And, yeah, so we have our lovely little elevator system here. There's a bit of a delay there, which I'm gonna have to keep tinkering with this. It's because of this not switch here. I had to actually look up a tutorial on this. Because it turns out, these fancy composite steel thingamabobs, they're just too fast. So what ends up happening is these little buttons that turn the stop lights on and off, they don't actually have time to, like, turn off. Let's actually look at some of these rail things here, because let's see. We have our composite rail, there's a rusty rail. Yeah, rusty rail platform, which moves slower, but I mean, I don't have time for slow rails, even though its graphic actually does look a bit more appropriate for a steampunk type thing, because it's got that big old gear and stuff on it. I'm gonna have to eventually drain all this out, as you can see. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to talk to the lovely people. Thank you. Anyway, yes, so we've got that. You know what? I'm just gonna pop one square off on each of these until we actually get done here. So basically, I figured what I would do is I'd turn the old Urkius Ghost Memorial, and in case you're wondering why it's called the Urkius Ghost Memorial, it's because of that. Since back in early access, you could actually capture these things. Can't anymore, unfortunately, but, you know, it used to be a thing. I'm sad it's no longer a thing, but, you know, those are the breaks, and sometimes life is unfair and cruel, and so on and so forth. Alright, so let's get a button here. It's actually pretty simple to wire these things if you have a long enough elevator. Basically, all you do is just wire them into buttons. Very simple, in that particular sense. Alright, let's see. With full bright, it's actually really hard to tell what I have actually glassed up and what I haven't. So I might actually turn full bright off, just so I can get an idea of what I'm looking at. Though it is very dark now, so let's time warp this. Oh, completely misspelled it. That's very unfortunate. Never time warp. There we go. Now it's much brighter, so we can actually see what's going on here. But yeah, because I figured this looks nice, and that was also not what I wanted to do. Because I am silly and apparently decided to left click instead of right click. All right. Yeah. There we go. Yep. So yeah, as you can probably see, I am a fan of ridiculously overcomplicated building designs. Very elaborate stuff. Very cool. Let's see, we need more black glass. Also, as with most of our, building type videos that I'm going to be doing on the channel, I'm just going to blatantly be cheating to get the materials I need for them. I hope you don't mind too much. Because, you know, I don't know. Like I've said before, I feel that in some cases cheating does take away from a game, but when time is a crucial factor, then sometimes you have to take a couple of creative liberties, I'd say. There's actually a mod I should look at some point that basically, or actually what I should look at in general is there are ways to sort of, like, what is it? Developers use something called, like, tiled or something, which basically lets you, yeah, it's a very good editing thing for placing these blocks and basically just building up stuff in a rapid fashion, which I'm describing that whole thing terribly, but yeah. That's kind of par for the course at this point, though, isn't it? But yeah, let's focus on the building. Basically, what I want is an awesome tower up into the sky, like so. And let's see here. How am I going to get this in here? Probably like something like this. There we go. And this. I don't know. I like the ornate wood as kind of like the border or filler or something. The edging of this. It looks like it kind of pops off, or maybe that's the glass itself. And there we go. That gets us upstairs a little bit. Yeah, I like this design so far. I like it a lot. Though, is it just me, or does this look off? Like, it's slightly wider on this side than it is on the other, even though they're both 1 block wide. That's gonna really annoy me. Also, I've made this 1 block too short, which also is going to annoy me, so let's fix that real fast, shall we? Alright, so let's, okay. Alrighty then. Yes, so something like this. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright. Now I'm satisfied. That's good. That's some good building right there. This whole episode is probably just going to be building this tower, and then next time we do some more building, we will start building the actual village in the sky. Because who doesn't like a good village in the sky, right? Alright, so now we're well on our way. We're well on our way to having a home in the clouds, which is really good. And part of the reason why I felt the need to break this up is because the game loads things in chunks, and if you make an elevator that's too big, there are workarounds from what I understand, but I don't want to fiddle with those workarounds right now, mostly because I don't know what they are. I've just heard that there's workarounds, but I'm not entirely sure what those workarounds are yet, so once I figure out what said workarounds actually are, then I will worry about working around the fact that all your wiring basically stops working if you get too far away and it loads, you know, off chunk, basically. And that was 1 square too far. Alright. Let's make sure it actually looks about right. So far, so good. Let's get a wall switch in here. Which, the previous wall switch was on this side, so we'll make sure it's also on this side. Like that. Good enough. Alright, and then what we do is we wire it in here. Alright, so when we hit this, we'll start going up. Which means, of course, we're going to need another wall switch. Alright, and what this should do, once we wire it in, is send us back down. Alright, so basically, we go down like this, and then like this. I might change this to be like some kind of pause or something. Or have it on a timer so that when you pass it, it'll like just pause you there for a second before going back up. Alright, and I think that looks okay. I'm happy with that. That's good. That's good. It could be faster, though. But, you know, everything could be faster in life. We can't get too upset about things not being fast enough. I mean, we could, but what would that really solve for anyone, right? Alrighty then. Okay, so, more fancy building, like so. And then back to our nice little... I don't really know why I like doing this, but I feel like giving the top of the window some kind of edging makes it look a little bit better. Just to make it stand out, I guess. Which, I mean, following that logic, it would probably also be a good idea to actually maybe try to figure out a way to edge the whole thing. Then again, that's what these curtains could be for. Now, they're too wide. Too wide for our purposes. But they exist, so we could probably do something with them. Maybe the final elevation up to the top will switch out the windows with the banners. And I'll probably have to spawn more banners in. Which I don't actually recall the names of these banners, so that's going to get interesting. Yes. Alright. Let us black glass the rest of this. Go. Alright. And like this. And like that. And like this. And there we go. So far, so good. I am reasonably pleased with how this is turning out. It looks okay. It looks acceptable. It could look better, probably. But I completely smashed out the glass for some silly reason. Probably because I'm a silly man. Alright, let's get out of here. Leave the horrible, disgusting monsters to their own devices. Alright, good. So let's fix my mistake here. Like so. And get our nice little ornate wood edging in here. Like so. And we jump down, also like so. And fill in the gaps so that it actually looks halfway decent. Which I like. Alright, good. I'm mostly happy with this. I like it. Also, of course, you can summon the elevator from any direction. From any direction. Oh! Right. My thing I forgot here with this is you have to actually wire this into every single thing. Alright, good. Which means, of course, I need to wire... Well, actually, now that I think about it, no, I don't. I don't need to wire into everything. The middle one just needs to wire into the bottom and the top. Right. Well, actually, no, because if it's up here, I need to be able to call it from down there. So, that's a good point. Which means I need to do something like this, and then stretch it all the way down. Thankfully, this reaches. It would be rather terrible if I couldn't get it to quite reach. Alright, now I can summon the elevator from anywhere. Let's also do a little bit of a time warp here. There we go. Alright, now it should come back. There we go. And if I press it again, it'll go down. And if we press it again, it'll go back up. Beautiful. It works exactly the way I wanted it to. Alright. So, okay, so the final approach will basically be with fancy banners and stuff. Alright, good. That is the strategy, which actually means we're going to need a different lighting scheme for this particular floor. Which is actually pretty nice, I think. How did I have it going with this? Okay. Or something like this. And I don't actually have to get the background there, I suppose. But it looks good. Alright. Excellent. Let's see here. Now, I believe I have the glass going pretty much... Yeah, like, it basically starts right away. Yeah, the only glass on this floor will be the background glass for the elevator. Which I think is okay. Maybe I should have used regular glass, but I like the black glass because... Well, mostly because it's what we were using to begin with. And because it just has a certain something to it, I would say. Certain something that I like. How many squares did I have this up? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 squares up, and then we have our ledge, and then we have the glass. Alright, so it won't be completely pitch black in here, but it will be pretty dark. Well, once we get the lights in, that'll probably fix the lighting problem, but... Yes. Alright, so it's going to be very, very different this floor. I need lots of stone here. then 1, 2, and then the bottom. All right, I think that actually works out, but let's make it a little brighter in here. Just a bit. All right. And with the lights, we'll want one light here, and one light here. Actually, you know what? I might make this bigger, now that I think about it. Let's spawn in some more ancient lights. Let's say 12. Ooh. This could be a problem. Well, I just need to adjust where everything is. All right. I think I'll probably end up fiddling around with this even more off camera, but this episode actually does look like it's gone on probably long enough, so I'm going to wrap things up here. But for the meanwhile, thank you all for watching. Let me know any suggestions you have for more building as we go along. Last episode, I got lots of good suggestions, and I'm always open for even more good suggestions, so don't hesitate to let me know what you think. But in the meanwhile, I will see you all in the next video.